I am Bruce Lee here, and you see with me by my side my son. We are here together. We are practicing our art from where we sit. It has a very different feel here. You could say that less effort is required to find mastery at this level. Indeed, at the level where you are, there is a great deal of effort required to achieve mastery. It is not for the faint of heart. Oh yes, you must be willing to take some blows. It is why I advised my students to be like water. Water will flow around the blow. I set the stage for a new kind of martial art upon the earth. It was a necessary evolution as I saw it, that needed to happen. This is the no way is the way. The drawing from multiple disciplines and taking the best and bringing them together within the being and acting from within the now moment, being eternally present. This is the teaching of all of the great masters. There were many masters before me and during my time also speaking of the same. But of course, from within different traditions. Not all temperaments are for martial arts, but are more suited for other disciplines, such as yoga, meditation, and many others. But it's all the same. It is all the same. Some people are more built genetically for physical prowess, agility, strength, speed. This is the path that I took, but it is not the only path, of course. But it is thrilling, of course, in the arts for people who enjoy watching. It is not so much fun to sit and watch someone meditate, but it is thrilling to see an actor perform his dance, the refined dance of the martial artist. And of course, it may not be recognized as such, but there is much power in this dance. It is not merely a cha-cha, but a great, thrilling entertainment. And not only entertainment, but inspiration. It is inspiring to see the human form working at its peak, and to see what it is capable of, to push it to the limits. It is a remarkable machine, but it is driven by the spirit. This is what animates. The spirit and the mind are intertwined, so that one can dominate. And when the spirit dominates and makes the mind its tool, that is when the mind can be developed into peak performance. But when the mind tries to take over, it is feeble. It is more akin to what you call ego. So look within the power of the spirit to train the mind. The spirit can train the mind, and then the mind can train the body. Do not let the mind take over the spirit, because the spirit will always direct properly. It is the mind that goes awry. Give the authority to the spirit. Give the entire authority of your being over to the spirit, the all-pervading spirit of who you are. It is both within and without you. And the mind is but a small tool that the spirit works with to realize its experience, exploration, and evolution. We have put the mind in a much far superior position than it should be. It is an intricate, electrical, complicated, intertwined, fantastic model, but it is like software. Spirit is the hardware, to use an analogy that might help many to comprehend the difference. And it is, of course, going to break down at some point, but it suffices to illustrate that the software cannot function without the hardware, and the hardware cannot enjoy so many multidimensional tasks without the software. The physical body is a projection of the mind. I was able to restore broken portions of my body through the projections of my mind. The masters helped me to understand this possibility, but I also intuitively knew it. You see, I was born with this kind of programming. Like all seeds contained within the blueprint of what it is to become, so that is what I came to be. My blueprint was as you knew me. And I see my role there in some ways was complete upon my death. For I did deliver an example of what the human being is capable of. And for many, that was purely entertainment. But for many, they took up the torch and were inspired enough to change their lives in a positive direction. And that is all I could have really hoped for from my students, from my children, and the people who appreciated what I was doing. Perhaps I left the body at my peak. Perhaps I would have carried on, but it would have been more of the same. The message was delivered within the time that I was there. As for my son, there is a contract, an agreement, and you can surely let go of any conspiracy theories, although that is what the entertainment world is about there. We are working on another level now here together, and it is joy-filled, I will tell you that. Joy-filled and with great purpose. For you there, it does seem like a loss, but from our vantage point, we have gained. We are continuing to reach other higher levels of mastery than would have been possible on the earth in that model. In that dimensional reality, there is only so much the physical laws will allow. Even though it appears what you call miracles occur upon the earth, it is a natural way of life in another dimension. For as many of you know, we continue to evolve. It is a never-ending process toward our godship. All we can do is continue to inspire one another there towards our discovering and actualizing our own greatness. For the seed of greatness is within each one, some closer to sprouting, some deeper in the earth, many sprouting already. So, regarding pain, my friends, I would say to you, a certain amount of physical pain is experienced by most everyone in some form or another. It is part, again, of the nature of the physical being, of being human on the earth in that dimension. There is a certain amount of physical pain, and as you know, it has a purpose. You work with pain, and pain guides you. Pain is your guide. So you don't necessarily want to eliminate it. You use that pain as information. Information that something needs to be relaxed, or released, or let go of, or tended to in some way, shape, or form. You may use that pain to go within it. You can go within the pain itself and explore it, and it can become an incredible teacher and friend. Let us not make enemies of our pain, physical, emotional, or otherwise. Let us allow them to be our teachers and guides. And let us go within them and speak to them and get the information that they are wanting to share with us. But instead, so many try to block it out, cover it up with pills and whatnot. It is suffered over, and there is no need to suffer over it. Recognize it. It's the suffering that makes it so bad. That you can do away with. That is a product of the mind. Once you become a master of your chi, of your energy, none of these things will even be an issue any longer. There are many signposts that guide us through life upon the earth, and pain is one of them. Suffering is just a toxic energy that is picked up along the way that is no service to pain whatsoever. In fact, it creates a dark cloud over something very valuable and precious. So perhaps we've said enough on this, but it does seem that many upon the earth continue to suffer their pains of all sorts. So this would be advice for our channel as well as many others. We are here and we are smiling and we are happy and we are enjoying our experience at this level. We leave you now from this divine place that we are in together. We thank you for opening for communication today, for opening your heart to our spirits and for sharing love. We are so pleased to be so honored by you. and we are absolutely delighted that many of you will be taking up some measures to improve your own quality of life. In closing, I will respond to your questions about my death. Yes, my wife is correct. To be a Lee is a blessing and not a curse, as some have said. Our hearts are deeply connected, she and she knows the truth. If anyone there is seeking the truth, they simply need to ask her. And people will create whatever they like regardless. It is the nature of it. And yes, asphyxia was what you felt when you asked how I died, and it was very brief for me. It was a little hard to breathe, and that was it. So believe me, I did not suffer. The grace of God came upon me in my final hour, and I did not suffer.